My name is Aaron Smith, founder of Escape the Odds Media, based out of Chicago, Illinois.
So who are you? I'm Stephen Jackson, senior.
I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, and moved from Kansas City to Grand Prairie, Texas at the age of 6. These were some of the best times of my life.
Born on the south side of Chicago. Part of my life was on the east side of Chicago, but my latter years was in the Dearborn Homes housing project, and what they call now Bronzeville. Grew up the youngest of 5, two older brothers, 2 older sisters. One of my brothers was murdered back in 2005. We value education, despite growing up in poverty. I kind of always knew that I would get education. I seen my sister go away to the Air Force, and I also knew that it was something more than what was in my community, the poverty that was around me. I just always had aspirations to do something different. Mother, working mom, never really any issues with substance abuse or any of those things that sometimes we kind of hear about in our community, just really working class. My pops, who raised me since I was 1 year old, never knew my biological father, maybe seen him a couple times throughout my whole life. So the man who has raised me since I was 1 year old, 42 years, is the person that I know as my father.
Older brother, 8 years older than me, then sister after him, and then the middle sister, and then I have a twin sister. 2 parents in the household. They've been married for 55 years now. Always had a mom and dad at home, always.
I didn't have a care in the world. I seldomly worried about my safety and was outside playing as often as humanly possible. Mind you, I was between the ages of 6 and 11. In 1988, we moved to the west side of Chicago. It was a complete culture shock to move from Grand Prairie, a suburb of Dallas, Texas, to Chicago. In 1991, I attended Oak Park River Forest High School from 1991 to 1994. It was during that time in Oak Park when I found it hard to fit in, and I started participating in criminal activity that eventually landed me in prison in 1998 with a 25-year sentence.
So got into, the streets kind of early on, about 15 years old, started selling marijuana. Always had a side hustle, always about trying to get some money from somewhere, and that just kind of escalated into my later years.
99, my senior year, things started to really escalate as it relates to my involvement in illegal activities, specifically selling drugs.
I realized I had sold myself short. Went to college, got a bachelor's degree, graduated in 2004, but simultaneously I'm running a heroin operation outside of the project, the Dearborn Homes. And in 2006, I was indicted along with 47 other individuals, myself, my brother, and that's when that road to redemption started.
So I was locked up for 12 years, from 1998 to 2010. July of 2010, 12 years. So I robbed a person at Oak Park, the community that I now work in, not too far from here. But yeah, took the person to the ATM, they withdraw, and then let the person go.
Again, I realized I had sold myself short. Here I have this education, but nevertheless, I'm doing everything that's contrary to what a person would think that holds a higher level of education. And I didn't realize at the time. I just seen what I seen, and I wanted what I wanted. But it wasn't until I was incarcerated in federal prison. I was sentenced to 12 years. And went inside of prison in 2009. Just not knowing what to expect. And when I get into what they call receiving, I remember the guard asking me, like, in the case of my demise, where do I want to send my belongings? And I never thought about being killed in prison, but that was the first time that ran across my mind. And my faith was a big part of my change. I knew that there was a higher power, and my higher power was Christ. And so I was like, I gotta do something different. I gotta make sure that this time is well spent. And so I began to kind of reassess and get back to the person that I was. And so I realized, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity. I'm going to treat my incarceration like school all over. 'Cause I was
A lot of people think that prison is a one way. There's a lot of misconception of what prison is. I was also fortunate enough to be in an environment where programming and a restorative environment was created by the ward at the institution that I was in. So I was afforded the opportunity to get associate's degrees, 4 trades, cosmetology, computer-aided drafting, electronics, and culinary arts. These journals are important to me. Journaling is therapeutic to me. I initially started journaling just because I wanted. I watched Ruben Hurricane Carter. Something about that movie like prompted me to want to just chronicle. Reputation. I am a community member who practices peacekeeping.
I kind of made the decision early on that I'm not going to spend time around people or situations that reminded me of what I've just come from under, right? It was all about just like this change from the onset. And so that's what I did. I began to really dive into not only just business, but my spiritual life, the Bible. I got around brothers who had been down 10, 15, 20 years, so they taught me how to do time in a positive way. And so that's what really kind of helped me get through my years, the camaraderie and the brotherhood that I found beyond the wall.
Housing. Once I did transition from my parents' home, was pretty tough. Trying to find housing because of discrimination. If they don't have the resources to outright purchase or to get a loan, then you have to rent. And then there's applications, and then there's application fees when it comes to housing. So that was one barrier. And then employment. It took a while for me to realize that self-employment was the best route to go being a returning citizen, because no one could stop me but me when it comes to business, running a business. I don't have to fill out an application. It's just me doing whatever service that I'm providing to the public. But it took me a while to get there. You know, you can't just, you can start you can just start a business, but you have to have financial backing in order for it to produce. Being a dad, being a big dad is a big part. That's the focus. Being present for my children. But my day-to-day, I work at Oak Park Public Library in this building that you see here, beautiful building that you see. I'm the Director of Equity and Anti-Racism here. And I do that for 9 to 5.
I knew that it always could be worse, but I also knew that it always could be better too. And so I made sure that I maintained like a level of ambition that to do something differently. Don't sell yourself short. Like if you know that you could be doing something differently, take that self-assessment, right? Remove yourself from situations, people, places, and things that may be pulling you down. And it may be hard things to get away from. Maybe people that you love, right? Or things that you love, right? Or places you love to go. But at the end of the day, if it's not conducive to your growth and you know that, then you're doing yourself a disservice. And you're allowing yourself to continue to get caught up in the cycle. And that's definitely not a way to escape the odds of recidivism.
Yeah, one of my aspirations, now that I've been out for 5 years, just personally, just building better relationships, and one in particular relationship is that with my wife, right? Recently married, and so just learning how to be a husband. I think in our community, at least growing up, I didn't see, just the whole married kind of a thing, and I realized that does have an effect on the person, and so just doing things differently as it relates to that, and continuing to build a stronger relationship with my daughter as well.
If you ever ask Stephen how he's doing, he will say, learning. And I've watched him and how he responds to things, and another thing he says is that he always assumes positive intent. And he's encouraged me to do the same.
I want the world to see me as a person who added value in any situation that I was placed in. Person that cares about people, person that cares about his family, a person who shows you the power of redemption.